All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Likutey Moharan. We are at Torah 22 of base. And we're basically holding towards the end of the last couple of paragraphs of Seif Hey. So, as we usually do, let's just encapsulate a little bit shortly. There is a person needs to get the Musar from Mochichi Ador, the admonishers of the generation. These admonishers of the generation, Mochichi Ador, they are called Limudei Hashem, a very, very special group of tzaddikim. They are basically the consultants of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Whenever there are judgments on the world, because Baruch Hu lets these tzaddikim know about this judgment, and the purpose of Kadosh Baruch Hu letting them know is twofold. First of all, for them to intercede for Am Yisrael and sort of like minimize the severity of the infraction. On the other hand, they have another role, which is to admonish the people. And when this is done, then there'll still be judgment, but it will be a din Torah. It won't be like a tsunami, chas v'chalila, of dinim, because the din Torah is something that brings a person closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Din achzori, chas v'chalila, is something that drives a person away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's why it's called din achzori, a cruel din. Now, in order to receive, in order to accept, in order to, first of all, to be willing to accept, but more than just that, to really understand what it is that the Limudei Hashem, these messengers of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, actually tell you, a person has to have a highly honed emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in tzaddikim, and the emunah has to be so strong that the person will get to believe that everything that happens to him on thought level, on speech level, on the Maisa level, everything is a HaKadosh Baruch Hu talking to him. Okay? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is talking to you, but what does he mean to tell it? What is HaKadosh Baruch Hu trying to tell him? You need a tzaddikim to tell you. To tell you need to tell you to fix this, fix that, whatever it is that you need to do. We said that in order to acquire such a emunah, you have to get this emunah, you have to get close to the shepherds of the generation, these special tzaddikim, that their work is to grow the emunah. They are the emunah growers. They are the farmers of emunah. Now we said that there is a barrier that stops people from coming to the true tzaddikim that grow the emunah. And that is the boldness of the Mefursam Hadar, the people, the famous people, the powerful people, the powers that be in the generation. It doesn't matter who they are, in Yiddishkeit, outside of Yiddishkeit, that keeps a person away. And in order to overcome the hurdles that they represent, a person needs to have, a person has to be bold, to disregard them and basically say, go fly a kite. I'm going to the tzaddik. So the Rebbe says in Seif Hey, number 5, that there's a job that every person has to let his body be accessible for his own neshama to shine into him, to illuminate him. And we say that this is a interrelationship. It's a bilateral relationship. When the neshama is able to illuminate the body, obviously the body itself becomes a very holy thing. Now, when a body is holy, that's a very great thing, both in this world and in the next world. But and on the other hand, the neshama also has a great advantage when it shines to the body. The madregas, the levels the neshama is able to see, because the neshama sees great things all the time. Now, just to reiterate, when we say the body, we don't just mean the flesh and blood. We mean also the cognitive mind of a person, the emotional reality, capacity, faculties, I don't know how you want to call it, of a person. All those, when they're compared to the neshama, they're considered body. Now, the neshama can sometimes, Rabbeinu says, get down from its madrega. And when the body, all different facets that make up the body, are clean and kosher, so even from the pleasures of the body, you eat something, go for Shabbos and whatever it is, you get pleasure, or something, you see something beautiful, you hear a nice song, and it elevates your spirit. Nice things happen to you. The neshama can use those pleasures to get back to its previous madrega. Now, this capacity of the body to be used as a launching pad for the neshama I mean, the body starts out, being very thick, very this worldly. But the light of the neshama shines into it, is the thing that actually prepares the body and cleanses and makes it possible for the body to get, to become a receptacle for the neshama. So in other words, the more the neshama gives the body, the more the body is actually able to receive the neshama. The more the neshama is able to give the body, the more it's like a spiraling up kind of thing. Now, as we will see, that the interrelationship between the body and the neshama are very much, as we will see on, they encapsulate, and they're also a muscle, a facet, an expression of a relationship with a tzaddik who is a b'chinas neshama when compared to his people, who compared to him, they are the body and he is the neshama. Now we learned that the body itself, has a boldness. The boldness of the body is the gashmius. The boldness of the body is the outlook that this world is what there is. That the boldness of the body is when we look at things from an outlook of this body. Obviously, it's a delicate balance, because the body is very important and the health is very important. And a person needs to take care of himself. And both, in what he consumes and in behavior and all the different levels. The idea is that you have to break the boldness of the body to enable the neshama to shine. So you see here, the body itself has to start a process by breaking its own boldness. But it's not a all or nothing. It's not a black and white situation. You break a little boldness, then the neshama is able to shine into you. The neshama is shining into you. You are able to break more boldness, and that's how the process goes. Rabbeinu told us that the means that the body uses, that the person should use in order to break the boldness of the body, is voices. We said the voices of crying out, it's the voices of music, of zmiros, it's the voices, obviously, of anocha, of sighing, of groaning. All these things are the things that break the toughness of the olam hazadika existence of a person, and it makes him open to receive the light of the neshama. Now, Rabbeinu says in another term that it's crucial what it is that you are actually sighing about. So because Rabbeinu says that a person, when a person sighs or groans, lamenting the fact that he is outside the realm of Kedusha, so as we said, that the body starts out tough. What does it mean, tough? Not just the body, the mind, the ego, the emotional part of it, whatever it is. It started out tough. Tough means that it looks, the outlook is this world outlook. Everything is what's going to benefit me from this world kind of point of look. What's going to make me feel better? What's going to make me taste something, enjoy my food better? What's going to make me more money? Now all these things per se, there's nothing wrong with them. I don't know if I can't. You have to eat. You have to eat. And when you eat, especially when you eat for Shabbos, you have to enjoy. I don't know if I can't. The Iker mitzvahs of Einik Shabbos is the food. You have to enjoy your food. Money, you need money. You need money to live, you need money to help your children and to rear your children. You need money to help other people. I mean, this is that really there are no taivas in the world. There's no such, there are no urges in this life which are just bad. It's just bad to feel that thing. Anything in its right place brings you to where you need to be. I mean, if you are uncomfortable, mitzvah pota b'sukkah, right? You have to feel comfortable. If you're not comfortable, not only that the rains come to the sukkah, you're uncomfortable. You say if you remain in the sukkah, Shulchan Aruch says, excuse the language, but Shulchan Aruch says that you're a moron. Any bracha that you make it is a bracha levatala. It's just okay, but said the laila rishona, you still have to be, you have to, make it eat a kazayas in the sukkah. If said that even if they're raining, falling, whatever it is, but basically mitzvah potter. So feeling comfortable in and on itself is not a bad thing. But to become addicted to comfort makes you look at life from the point of view of this world. Same thing with food, same thing with tabayadu. Person need to have children. A person should be mesameach his wife. Each one where he's holding, in his life. There's a place for everything. It says the anocha that a person's size has to be to say, why am I not able to do this thing b'kedusha? Why am I not able to subject myself to the Mishal of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Why is it so difficult for me? That's a sign like this connects you to the rope, to the life support of Kedusha. But when a person sighs for the ties of this world, then fakir, it ties him to the Chevel HaTumah. So the sighing in and of itself it's basically when Chazal says that a sighing and a sigh and a groan breaks the body of a person, it means that it's as if it is killing him and is giving him another life. if a person is groaning and sighing for something b'kedusha, it's finishing this phase of life when he is that far from kedusha, and it's getting him closer. It ties him to get closer. So, like, it's almost like he dies and he becomes alive again. It's a principle that we see in other places as well. That's the reason why mikveh works. Because mikveh is like a womb. I mean, you're going into the mikveh and you toil in the mikveh and you can't breathe. So that thing that you can't breathe in the mikveh makes it as a kivyochel, you die and you become alive again. You come out of the water. Rabbeinu says that it's very auspicious to crack down harsh judgments for a person, to go down when he goes to the mikveh, to tovel on the mikveh, and stay underwater until he can't do it anymore. He has to, you're staying in the water, you come up and you're taking the air until you can't do it anymore. Because that ties you, it ends your life and it starts your life on the spot. Purer. Or when a person sighs for something which is not b'kedusha, it does the opposite. It ends his life and that phase of kedusha, and lo aleinu starts a phase of tumah. So that's what the pasuk says. Dovko otzmi lebesari mikol chosi. My etzem, my neshama, is connected with my besari, with my body, with my gashmius self, mikol chosi, from the sound of my sigh. Because a sigh is kol, and kol, any kind of sound, is an expression of boldness, of gvura. The lion roars. Any sound is, and Hashem iten bekoiloi kol oiz. Hashem will give with his sound a sound of power, of gvura, of oiz. As we said before, oiz, the difference between gvura, gvura for gibor, a might, and oiz, and boldness, are two separate things. Mightiness means that you have a koyach, to use it for, whatever it is, to beat your enemies. Boldness means that you have the gumption, you have the chutzpah. Tembekoila kol oz. In other words, an oz, somebody who is an az. Mi az kari. Someone is an az, somebody who's, he is dominating. He forces that which is in front of him. The anocha, which is an expression of oz. And we said that this is a process. You sigh, not just, why am I not, fasting Bahav and maybe, fasting from Shabbos to Shabbos, waking up Chatzos every night. Why am I not doing that? Even though it's very, very good that you should. But let's say you don't even want to sigh about those things. You're not interested. And you're sighing about, why am I not sighing about these things? What do I think? What, I'm going to stay in this world forever? Why am I not doing this? That is getting you a step a step further in your journey. And the last thing that we said about this particular, in Seif Hey, and he says, and because Rameh mentioned the voice, when Rameh mentioned the voices of Oiz, he mentioned crying out, he mentioned singing, he mentioned Tkiyas Shofar, and he mentioned the Anocha, a sign. Rabbeinu says, and this is the inner of Kol Shofar. Ubchinas Kol Tkiyas, and all that principle, that sighing and Oiz, and break down the toughness of the body and enables them to become spiritual, is encapsulated in the avodah of the shofar. And it says, because the voice of tkiyas shofar, the various blowing of the shofar, are various expressions of a call of azus that breaks azus. It's anocha. Like the anocha, the sighing, the groaning, is an expression of azus. You want something that you don't deserve. Tkiyas shofar also works that way. And it breaks down the body of a person. Again, we said breaking down the body of a person, we said, we took a different look at it. And it says, it means that you are ending your life in one phase and you're starting it immediately on a different phase. It breaks the previous phase and starts a new one. It breaks the body of a person. It says, a pasuk in Amos, it says, he asks as a rhetorical question, is it possible for a shofar to blow in a city and the people won't get scared? Is it possible? It's like, the way the shofar was used in those days is the way the sirens, the sirens that go up and down. Whenever a siren goes out, everybody stops. Everybody got, whoa, what's going on? When a siren goes up, you already get scared. Why do you get scared? You don't even know but maybe it'll go down and up. Maybe the siren and go up again. So the siren, which is called shofar, the minute that it sounds, it's a call of azus. It represents azus. It announces azus. It breaks the body. And again, I want to reiterate, because it's a very, very important point. Breaking the body it's not because it's like a, something when you sigh, it's like it breaks the body of a person in some kind of no, it's a real thing. Not that it breaks the body in the sense that suddenly, you look bent like I don't know what. Sighing, breaking down the body, as we said, it ends your life the way it was until now, and it starts a new phase in your life. It's a little dying. So the same thing applies to the mikvah. When the shofar sounds, your life until that moment ends and now starts a new phase. It begins with dread. The prophet Amos says, is it possible for shofar, for a siren to be blowing in a town and the people, and a dread will not befall the people? So this Rabbeinu uses as a proof that the voice, the sound of Tkiyas shofar causes a person a charada. gives them a dread, and it breaks the boldness, the toughness, the coarseness, the desensitized aspect, of a person's existence, body, spirit, emotions, thought-wise. And it brings a person to Azaz the Kedusha. It takes it from one place and starts to the other one. It will enable you to overcome the powers that be in generation. It doesn't matter if it's the government. It doesn't matter if these are, rabbis, that decided that they're the ones, to tell you what to do. And, they are like dominating and domineering without being really able to help the people become Moray Shemayim. It means that their urge for their lust for power is unwarranted. A lust for power is a very important aspect and it's the right place by the right person. When a combat unit is in the field and they're facing the enemy and they're facing hardship, one person that grabs the flag, and say hurrah and just goes through can change the whole battle. So a lust for power, a lust for command is not a bad thing in and on itself. In fact, it's very, very necessary. I remember in 1973, during the Yom Kippur War, when basically, Israel was losing. They were losing. And on came Arik Sharon. And he was that person. By his coming onto the scene, he changed the minds of the people completely. Immediately they went across the Suez Canal, whatever it is, it just turned the war all over. It was a lust for power. Here's a person who lusts for power. The same thing, happened in the Second World War with General Patton. The same thing. The lust for power for General Patton was very, very important in its place. But the lust for power is unjustified. You just do it because you want to be Mr. Big. This is as a ponim shabador. And you need azus, Kol Shefer gives it to you to overcome them. And you say, thank you very much, Mr. Asponim. You may be a big deal, a big leader, whatever it is, but as far as I'm concerned, you can go fly a kite. Because I have a life to live. And in fact, the only asset that I have in this life, the only raw material that I have in this life is time. That's it. I don't have anything else. And I can't borrow time from anyone, and I can't get time from anyone. This is it. I can't waste my time listening to your, entertaining your lust for power. Go find your own friends. Leave me alone. I need the tzaddik yador. The Kol Shefer brings you closer to that. This enables you to come to the shepherds of the Emunah generation, which is the true tzaddik yador. Now, Rabbeinu says that this is signified with the three sounds of the shofar. Mebchinas tkiya, shvarim, trua. Tkiya, what is tkiya? Tkiya, the koilish of the kedusha, like called tkiya, The basic blowing of the shofar. This is what it is. Tkiya. That's what shofar. The only reason why we're doing true and shvarim is because we're not exactly sure what the call of tkiya is. But tkiya is that's the mitzvah of shofar. Tkiya pshuto. That's the thing that does it. That's like the kol hanocha. That's like the crying out. They're all different voices of kedusha. That leads to shvarim. It's not coincidental that we don't know what is called tkiya, so we go to tkiya and shvarim and trua, because each one represents a stage of getting closer to the Royal Kedusha. Tkiya is the kol azus. Shvarim, the al yadam nishbar azus haguf, that breaks down the toughness and the coarseness of this olam hazadika existence of ours. And then the neshama can shine into your body. The neshama can let your body know from the different madrigas the neshama is getting. Trua, that's what it says to David HaMelech, Ata tirei es ami, you are going to shepherd my people. In other words, the tkiya, which is a kolos azus, brings to shvarim, which breaks down the boldness of your own body, and it brings to tkiya, to trua, which brings you to the roim, to the ones that you can get the true emunah from. And then you can get close to them, because the only way you can get close to them is through Azus the Kedusha, which is the voices of Kedusha, which is Kol Shofar. Since the Kol Shofar encapsulates the whole Indian here, so Mimela, the voices the shofar emits, are broken down into these three stages. Tkiya, you're making those sounds. Shvarim, it breaks down that istaklos, brings it to true roya. You're coming close to the roya. I told this more than once, and I probably will tell it again and again. But it's an important thing, for us to understand the inyan of kol shofar. What is the charada? What is the dread that falls on a person from hearing the shofar? It's the same voice. There's the same dread that falls on a person when he hears the siren suddenly go on, unexpectedly. The dread is everything comes to an end. I told you that for years I was going around with this kasha in my mind. They say that when the Satan hears the Rosh Hashanah, you're not mentioning any, you're not confessing, no confessions Rosh Hashanah. Only, with Tkiyas Shofar a little bit afterwards, you mention Aris Faseinu Ayom Haras Olam. Today is the day that the world was born. If we're like sons, so have mercy on us like sons. If we're brothers, forgive us. Why we're able to do it during Tkiyas Shofar? Because the Satan gets verblonget. He gets confused. He gets panicky. He loses senses. Why? Because he's worried maybe this is the Shofar Mashiach. So I'll be honest with you, for years, I was like, what are you talking about? It's a Shofar Rosh Hashanah, it's a Shofar that it's a sound that it's a really very crude sound. There are no harmonies in there. It's just like, it sounds like somebody is hoarse. And I don't feel afraid. I know it's a Rosh Hashanah. You're blowing so for sure. Last year was like this. 2 years ago it was like this. 3 years ago it was like this. For thousands of years it's already like this. What the Satan doesn't know, every kid knows that this is the Shefer Rosh Hashanah. The Satan doesn't know it. And then 1 year I understood. What is Skir Shefer? Person goes to the doctor and the doctor, looks at the results and he looks closer. Just looks closer. He becomes serious and looks closer. Oh, what? Maybe he doesn't see well. Oh, closer. If he tells her, listen, I want you to do these tests again. You're panicking. Forget about it. Why? You've had hundreds of blood tests in your life. Everything was okay. What's the big deal? I don't know. It's antibiotics. What are you worried about? I want you to do X-ray or CT or whatever. Get scared of them. What are you getting scared? Because you know that one day the results are not going to be coming back the way you hope they will. It's inevitable. Maybe that's the one, Chas v'Chalila. That's what this dread is about. The Satan gets all frightened from Tkiyas Shefer is not because he is dumb, Chas v'Chalila. He's smarter than all of us put together. He knows that eventually there's going to be Yazi Toka b'Shefer Gadol. They will be blowing with a great Shefer. And all the slaves will go free. Which means we will all, because Baruch Hu will shecht it. It will shecht the Yetzirah. So the fact that there were already thousands of Tkiyas Shefers out of generations, not only it doesn't ease because he's smart, not only doesn't ease his anxiety, it makes it worse. It means I'm one step closer. I'm one Tkiyas Shefer closer. Maybe this is the one. Chances are growing every single year that that's the one. The azus what has to be broken is the world, that feeling, I live in this life and I'm impregnable. I'm making money. I'm doing what I want. The thing that breaks the azus of the body is realizing that, no, I'm not impregnable. As Rabbeinu says, people don't realize that we are actually dying every day. Every day we die that day. That's it. This day is never going to come back. We're inexorably moving forward. That's the Kol Shefer. And when you sigh, it breaks that impregnability, false sense of security. And it breaks down that azus of the body. Breaks down the azus of the body. This is and you can get to the Shiva Ryan. This is what's said about Avraham Avinu, that last week's Pasha, that he gemaled himself and Ishmael, he circumcised himself and Ishmael. Vayamal es b'sar oilosam be'etzem hayom hazeh. Basically means that he circumcised the flesh of their arla in that the midst of that day. But here we have these two things. We have the basar and we have the etzem. Vayamal es b'sar oilosam be'etzem hayom hazeh. And he says be'etzem hayom hazeh nimal Avram. And in the etzem of this day, Avram was circumcised. Because hayom hazeh. Why do we say be'etzem hayom? Be'etzem hayom hazeh. Why be'etzem connects to hayom hazeh? What's got to do with day? Hayom was going to do with day. This day, what's got to do with this? Rabbeinu says, "B'chinas kol shofar." The sound of the shofar shemitzvos bayom. On the face of it, what is the mitzvah of shofar? You're blowing it during the day, not at night. It sounds like you're stretching it. Why does bayom tells you that it's shofar? Because the mitzvah of shofar is during the day. Sounds like it. But that's not true. The light of day means the lights of the true das, the light of real cognition of what life is about. And in order, Bechlal, for you to sigh, you have to have a glimmer that something is going on here. You know, as the famous song says, you know that something is going on, but you don't know what it is, do you, Mr. Jones? You get this sense that, you can only do it if you have some light, you have some seichel. You can sigh already. You can start the process. That's why it says in the first parsha of Shmois, Vayamas Melech Mitzrayim, Vayanchu Bnei Yisrael B'Navodim. It's only after Melech Mitzrayim, I mean, his demeanor was so overwhelming that people are having, okay, that's our lives, you know, we're a slave. Okay, that's what we do. Well, no problem, whatever it is, you know. They didn't even think to sigh. When Parach Melech Mitzrayim died, the hardship lessened a little bit, enough for them to have a glimpse of daylight. And then they signed. Then they Tekiyas Shofar. You can't be Tekiyas Shofar. You can't admit this when there's no das, when you have absolutely no idea what the heck is going on. I got an invitation today for a seminar, time management seminar. I couldn't stay there for more than a few minutes. Not so much, you know, don't have to look, whatever, but it started, we said, you know, the seminar, why is it important for us to manage our time? The essence of what being said there is it's important for us to manage our time so we can finish what we have to do and have more time to do what we like to do, what we love to do. It's so sad, but I understood it's an important subject, but I just couldn't stay there. There's no daylight. There's no daylight. Time is the only thing you have. That's it. That's the only resource you have. You don't have anything else. Everything else is just a light. I remember Blazer Shomashik saying years ago, you know, when people take you to the airport, so everybody gets in the car together and you're going there and you go into, before the coronas and whatever it is, and they walk you to a certain place, you know, up to a certain point they can take you, and then you're on your own, you know, from security checkup or whatever it is. Up to that point, they can go with you, they can have a cup of coffee or whatever it is, a cup of joe, whatever it is, and then from a certain point on, that's it. Only a person with a ticket is going on. All the people that we love, all our family, all the, yes, in essence, when a person passes away after 120 years, they do a great service to that person by, as we learn in Torah Chafalef, by mourning for him. Because the Shiva and the Shloishim and the year, it's not for them, it's for the Nifter. As we learn in Torah Chafalef, and Nifter means that all the Makifin are being stripped off from him. He's defenseless. He's totally, the Klippas are just, first 3 days, it's the hardest. Afterwards, next 4 days, it's easier. That's the first 3 days. You don't even menachem the Alma. You're basically, being commiserating with the Avos be commiserating with the Nifter. But then that's it. I mean, Chazak al Ames, shtakach min alev. That's it. You enter the security check, and that's it. You're on your own. Because Baruch Hu gave you family, should become mitzvahs for them. Should have children. Should be megadol Torah mitzvah, Torah for mitzvahs, chuppah, masim tevim. Have a wife, should be sameach. You should have children with her. Zochav and Nekeva, that's the essence of everything. Ultimately, that's it. These are all, things, tools that you were given in order to use your time properly. You need a daylight. You need a yom to be able to be Tokei Shofar. That's why Be'etzem hayoim hazeh v'yamal Avram b'sar olosam be'etzem hayoim hazeh in hayoim hazeh, in that day. Hayom hazeh the b'chinas kol shofar. Over here we see Hashem will answer you when? B'yom tzara, in the day of tzara. This a very special mizmor. It has 70 words in it. Hashem will help you in the day of your distress. It has 70 voices. A Yoledis cries out 70 voices before she gives birth. The kol azus. Through the azus, yozecher yan chashem yom tzara. What is yan chashem tzara? You are delivered from the toughness, from the coarseness, from the blindness of the body and its tivus. Hayoim hazeh is a remez for kos de kedusha. This is the thing that breaks and removes the arla of basar, which is a euphemism for the toughness of the body. Mekabel ora etzem, and then you can be mekabel the light of the etzem, the light of the neshama. That's called an etzem. The neshama lets the body know of all the different asagas that it gets, and this is the pasuk. It's through Hayoim Hazeh, the voices of Kedusha. What happens is it becomes a milah. A milah is a removal, a breaking of the toughness, of the boldness of the Kedusha, and Yazoicha to B'chinas Etzem, to the light of the Neshama. Okay, B'ezrat Hashem, I want to, B'ezrat Hashem, Kodesh Baruch Hu should help us, each and every one of us, to realize every single day, sigh a little bit. Realize how you don't realize. Realize how far you are from really realizing. And give a sigh. It'll get you closer. So B'ezrat Hashem will allow us, B'ezrat Hashem will enable us, b'schos of the tzadiki emes, to get them, to break the Azus Haguf, to get close to Tzadikei Emes, and to get them Emunah Shleima. Let Hashem to be zoyech the bias Mashiach tzidkeinu b'mehera b'aminu amen. Shkach Gadol and good Shabbos, everyone.